Delaney. Her publications include a book of poetry, Reading Darwin, published by Poets Corner Press, and her poetry and fiction has appeared recently in Art Times, Soda Voss, Chicken Pinata, and she lives in Collingswood, New Jersey with her husband and daughters and cats. So please help me welcome Kate Delaney.
And will you guys give me the vaudeville hook if I go too long?
Yeah,
we
I'll
could
keep
do
an
that.
eye
Okay,
on time. Sure.
I'll try to monitor it. So I thought at first I would read 3 poems that I'm working on from a new book about motherhood, and I always feel like I need to say some disclaimer that I'm writing a book about motherhood to say it's not going to be cheesy and ridiculous. I don't know why I feel that need to, but nonetheless. So this poem is called "To a Little Invisible Being Who is Expected Soon to Become Visible," a long title, and it's taken from 19th century poet Anna Barband, who is a British romantic poet. So, to a little invisible being who was soon expected to become visible. Hard to imagine you as human down there, secret face submerged beneath a wall of flesh. I guess it's true, you look like the chubby silhouette reproduced in every imaginationless maternity magazine, sweetly sucking its thumb, balled up neat as tube socks. But I prefer to think of you as a skate, a pancake of cartilage, looping the dark, standing water of me, chasing sparks of light and noise, skulking sustenance, not just treading water, taking deep pulls on the placenta like some lazy scuba diver. Or else I think of you as a bird, tiny, white as lace, beating hard against the boarded skylight of my stomach, cut off from your usual trajectory, like the thrush your father and I saw, trapped in a cafe on Rue St. Catherine, fluttering hysterical at the window after a moment's mistake in the rain. Maybe it's arrived on muffin crumbs and cream, but for how long? It needed air, like you, whom I imagine when the day comes and I unhinge the cage door of my legs, will shoot wild and free as a bird. And next, this is called Breach. This is the one in the magazine. Since it was Halloween anyway, they carved a big jack-o'-lantern grin just above my pubic bone, and from inside that sinister smile, they scooped you out, pumpkin seeds and all. I'd asked you to turn for months, towards the light, towards the exit sign, towards that nice warm spot in me, breach seeming not just a position, but a breach in our contract, that you'd enter the world of your own accord, not just loiter there, umbilical cord looped around your neck, like a condemned man waiting at the gallows for someone to kick the stool away. In the end, they removed you, like tonsils or a lump of appendix, something you get ice cream and Mylar balloons for as a kid. As I lay on the gurney, enough light above me to bleach my bones, the nurses looked on, and the residents, and the med students, and I don't know, maybe popcorn was passed around. I couldn't see from behind the screen where they carved me up like a big fat dinner carcass, chirping away with their weirdly happy questions. What's the name, and what would it have been if it had been a boy? It wasn't until they held you over me, a dangling cloud of blood, my arms splayed out and strapped down that way, Jesus on the Christ style, that I realized for the first time you weren't something heavy I'd eaten for lunch, a bowling ball implanted in a dream. You were mine. Then they gave you to your father, and they wheeled me away. And the last of the baby poems. This is called Portrait of My Daughter at 2 months. Your heart's an elegant smudge under your skin, a bee winging in the hive of your barrel chest. Your stomach rises and falls, a small bellow stoking a growing flame. I try to read your palms, but you clench them. Drowsy heads of flowers not ready yet. This winter, their ice chips dangling at your side, implausible dirt under the nails, like you've been tilling the soil of my wound before the rude interruption of birth. I disturb your sleep, ruffling dark fringes around edges, eyes so blue they blaze across the room. Your feet, worthless appendages you're incommunicado with, are as satisfying to rub as lucky rabbit's feet. I pick lint out from between matchstick toes. It's not the tiny clothes that gets me, the too cute accessories, but the genius of you naked, skin scrolled out, still perfect. That there's blood in your veins, that you aren't as bloodless as an insect is an astonishment. Every morning I worry I'll find you, like a princess in a storybook, turned to stone. After 2 months, I know you, want to paint you in words to keep you this way. But I wouldn't have said that those first few days when it was like someone tore my chest out just to show me my heart. I was overwhelmed, afraid, sickened even. But what can I say now, other than I love it, that of course I couldn't live without it. And just to read a couple from my chapbook, which is called Reading Darwin, and I'm selling them for $5 for best offer. I'm selling a used car. And they're all sort of about experiences of caregiving, about my younger sister's experiences with a chronic genetic illness. So this is the title poem from my book, Reading Darwin. It's called Reading Darwin. You see your little sister every night, propped up on a tenuous support of slippery pillows, poring over origins or some letters, annotating margins by the inferior light of some dull bedside lamp, only pausing when her body eclipsed her brain to cough up wet blood clots into tissues, blood leaking from bursting veins burst by faulty genes. She reads, she underlines natural selection, she cross-references terms with other texts strewn across the bed sheets. She considers the inherited anomalies of the Falklands. When she closes her eyes, she'll be dreaming of their penguins, strange birds built with wings that never find the air. This one's called After Armistice. Family holidays exiled him from the living room lined with Rockwells, din of children laughing. Out back to keep company with old grizzled seabirds struggling at the feeder, or the ragged patch of suburban garden, company of the buried carrot, radish, beet. Eventually he'd surrender to Grandma's vacant kitchen, where concealed behind corners, I'd spy him, watch a peach under the spigot like an infant, then braced at the table, pain-faced, pare its ready meat from pit. The worn collage framed behind his head, holding a photo of his young, smiling self aboard the warship for all time, a faded snapshot of his stone-faced father, a son of the great hunger, hieroglyphs of explanation. And the last one I'd like to read is called Self-Portrait with My Family. We are the younger Bruegel's peasants, stiffly smiling, working our way diligently through the dance, caged in tawny light. I can't pick my own face out of this peopled landscape. I am everyone at the village wedding, the town burial of some mute and glorious Milton, who, like we, stock figures, might have wished for some impending deus ex machina or interjection from the chorus. Of course, the old man dreamed it his way, all the folks, exuberant slabs of brick red, olive black, Madonna blue, posed in permanent siesta under a tree. Thankfully, the young revise, because there's something in the sun's copies, something in the color-speaking sadness, unspoken by the subject, unknown to the world, painted by bourgeois brushstroke, sold to a patron, some decorative private suffering for his study's walls. Little Pete, I like you for not reproducing that painting, that landscape with Icarus, where we appear ignorant of the winged boy's fall. Do you know why we labored on, even as we listened to the shrill splash of the little body breaking the waves? What lies behind and ahead of us on that steep rocky hillside? All the lost lives, all the children dead without wings.